All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. As more people join, more people will join. But at home yesterday, you should have gotten the Google Slides of this packet, okay? Obviously, you're at home, so I couldn't give you the paper, okay? But you have this packet at home that you were supposed to have completed yesterday. So since it is a DBQ, you've got the packet. Today, you're going to work on your thesis. I've got it behind me. I'll show you what it is, and you're going to plug in what you got. And then tomorrow, you'll work on an outline, and then Friday, you will finish your outline, okay? Now, on the back of this entire page, so where you had it on your document, okay, you had this box here, and it talks about 2 democratic features and 2 undemocratic features. Okay, so in this paragraph right here, it talks about how in the 13 colonies, so the beginnings of America, it talks about how because we didn't have a government yet, okay, and it's just like starting out, it talks about how in the 13 colonies, colonial life had times where it was democratic, which means people had freedoms, but there was also a time where a lot of people didn't have freedoms because we didn't have a government. It's not 2020 where everybody has rights, everybody's got freedoms, everybody's got these, rights that they have earned throughout history. In the 1700s, guys, not everybody had the equal rights, okay? And that's what we're talking about in this DBQ, all right? Now, behind me, all right, you have your thesis, okay? Now, I didn't put it in the chat. I didn't put it in on Google Classroom, which means right now you probably either A, need to be writing it down. So if you have a pencil and paper, I would probably write it down so you have it. Or B, you have it somewhere else or typed it out or in your notes or whatever, okay? So as some of you are looking for that, you have this thesis. Now, everything in black, you are going to write word for word. In the blue and the red, that is your own writing. That is your own inputting. Okay, so on your thesis, okay, I'll give you guys a couple of minutes here to write it down as it is going through here. On your thesis, okay, I have wrote, in the early stages of colonial America, so some of you writing that down probably helps, citizens experienced, and then the blue and the red are plugged in. So let me talk about that. It says, in the early stages of colonial America, citizens experienced 2 democratic features and 2 undemocratic features. Okay, so what I broke that down was, okay, in your documents, there is plenty of data to support that there are people that had freedoms. There are certain groups of people that had freedoms. They were able to do everything that everybody else wanted them to do. They were free people. There are 2, there's probably 10 examples of people having freedoms. You need to pick 2 and write them in, okay? And then in this DBQ, there are plenty of other reasons to show that there were people that did not have freedoms, okay? And you would write that in, all right? So you're going to write everything in black the way it is. You're going to plug in 2 freedoms people had and 2 areas where freedoms were taken away, okay? And you will put that in on Google Classroom in your response field to the question, all right? Pretty much word for word, but plugging in your responses, okay? Make sure also that you have a reason or a document to support your claim, okay? If I'm looking here, and I look at document number 6, and I don't want to get in your way, but if I'm looking at document number 6 right here, which is the slave ships, okay, and the slaves are coming over to America on a ship stacked up together, if that's not an example of freedoms taken away, I don't know what is, all right? So you need to make sure that if you're going to say, hey, Mr. Durham, in my thesis, there are 2 freedoms taken away, let me plug them in, but I can't find a document to support that claim, because you're just making it up out of thin air, it has to be found in here somewhere, guys. If you're going to say someone had a freedom taken away or had a freedom, make sure I can find it in here. Because when you write your outline later, you will need to be able to tell me that, okay? Now, with all of that being said, what questions do you have?